Alright, well, sometimes some good news can remind us of some bad news, but also show what the solution may be. In this case, Florida seems to be working to get rid of much of its licensing laws, which is great considering how absurd it is that in order to be a cosmetologist, or a person that cuts hair, or an interior designer, or a boxing referee, or a whole metric ton of other jobs, you need to be licensed by your state. That varies by state to state, of course. But this is all done in the name of safety and standards, supposedly, except for the fact that if it really was, there would be no business grandfathered in. They should all have to go through the same hoops, but they often aren't required to. So licensing laws really end up just being a form of protectionism for the older, more entrenched businesses. They get a free pass, where if you're new to town and you want to compete, you generally have to pay some hefty licensing fee and attend overpriced classes to be given permission to do whatever work it is you want to do. Well, it is good to see that at least Florida is smartening up a bit and doing away with much of that stuff, because as of right now, the one thing people are struggling with is money and economic opportunity and prosperity. There's a bit of a question mark on a lot of that stuff, and all the help people can get is great. And when bureaucracy and red tape gets cut like this, that can help out and really provide some stability and growth in an economy. Some real, actual growth. It kind of reminds me of, if you remember from the beginning of COVID, when all those rules and all that red tape from the FDA had to be cut in regard to testing, masks, ventilators, because all the regulations around it stifled it. And at the time, when people were panicking, these regulations prevented the market from operating correctly and getting the goods to the people that wanted them. It was one of those completely flagrant and blatant failures of government, where they were trying to do good, but they caused way more harm. The emergency really blew open the door on just how dangerous and burdensome those regulations were. A bunch of private businesses were ready to go, ready to help out. It would have curbed a lot of the panic, but those businesses were prevented from doing anything because of FDA rules. Even hand sanitizer, if you remember, whiskey and vodka companies could have made hand sanitizer easily, but the FDA required this bad-tasting denaturant to be used, which would have caused a lot of problems for their equipment, so that was slowed down. And yet again, regulations show themselves to be highly counterproductive and serve to hurt people far more than they help, if they help at all, which is highly debatable. Well, like I said, at a time when economic uncertainty is at an all-time high, perhaps now is the time that it dawns on people, maybe I shouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars and spend hundreds of hours in a class in order to get my license to cut someone's hair. Maybe people will realize just how ridiculous this all is. It really should be as easy as getting a chair, getting scissors, having some skill, and letting your work speak for itself. Reputation over regulation is what I say. I don't know of anyone, maybe some people do, but I've never met them, who cares about a license for this type of stuff. All they care about is seeing a friend with a nice haircut, asking them who gave it to them, and then booking an appointment with them. It could actually be that simple, and after the failure of government has been laid so bare, I think it's a good time for people to start realizing that, in my humble opinion. But that's all for right now. Like and subscribe, and take it easy.